You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Yeah, sure thing.
Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yeah?
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient.
Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
You know that sound. It's the sound of money hitting your Venmo account. A friend paying you back. Or maybe it's getting cash back from your favorite business when you pay with the Venmo debit card. Or it's realizing you can pay with Venmo at checkout at thousands of brands. Now, there are so many more ways to answer the question, what's your Venmo? Download Venmo today. The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Dosh Cashback terms apply.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Let me entertain something that I had not considered, which is Jessica saying, no, she loves the Pro Bowl. She's down here for 73-65 or whatever that was yesterday, and put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are you a fan of the Pro Bowl? I was of the opinion that when you're watching so many people not trying, that's not what people want today with their sport. So it can be fun, but I may be missing the mark on that one because I just assumed that the exhibition, we don't have the attention span anymore for games that don't have stakes. That unless you turn it into a giant party, a giant entertainment vehicle,
right,
we don't have the attention span anymore to sit around a television watching your exhibition games.
It's not just the game, though. It's like all the different events. Like, they've made it very silly and they're not taking it as seriously now. And I think it works because I think you're getting to see a lot of players' personalities. It's like, oh, and like, you know, I said earlier, it's like my Buccaneers friends are hanging out with my 49ers friends. Like, that's so cute. Everyone's having such a good time together.
It's not sexy for a podcast, but can't it just be fine? It's fine. Right. It's good background television. You throw it on a Sunday.
We don't have to talk about it.
Do some errands around the house. It's on there. Peyton and Eli are being, oh, you're going to lose. No, you're going to lose. Come on, it's fun.
I like that we're not complaining about it anymore. So I guess
Dan just kind of...
Well, no, it's an upgrade over what we had before because we're
Dan
not
tried to cancel it like 20 minutes ago.
I just canceled all exhibitions. I just thought we'd gone... Look... The NBA's got a problem with its exhibition because it was such a sacred thing once upon a time. And now this is something that I want to actually talk about, Stugotz, because Anthony Davis's reputation historically, him playing in this age, winning only one championship as kind of like a freak of nature, right on the cusp of, whoa, the sport changed right there. Guys that big shouldn't be able to play like that.
Mm-hmm.
For him to get dragged as less than, as you have to make an argument for why he's not overrated, whether the opinion of him, he's unreliable, he's not available, not tough enough, whatever. I'm tired of seeing some games where that guy goes 2 for 7 and I don't understand it. We're living in the age of the curmudgeon is shouting down from on high with the last of his or her media embers, usually his, shouting at sports. This guy's less than, I got to stay ahead of the internet. I got to stay ahead of people being cruel. I got to be funnier. And so Anthony Davis has maybe not a legendary career, but a Hall of Fame one, and will be viewed as less than, not just in this trade, but paling compared to LeBron, gave him a fountain of youth, got LeBron to 40.
Right, but that's on Anthony Davis because everyone can clearly see the talent. But it's on Anthony Davis as to why he will not be remembered in that regard.
Okay, but
he never plays.
His body. It's not that he never plays, Stugotz. That's not fair, but I understand what you're doing, and you too are curmudgeon because during the break, it all leads me to this. Stugotz muttered under his breath.
I know what he's doing. He stopped watching around the same time I did.
No.
Apparently he's playing now. It's wild. No, he plays more now.
He played 76 games last year.
The better way of saying is for now. Okay, he's playing now for now. For now, he is playing, but shortly he will not be playing.
But we're not alone.
Okay.
The entire internet also stopped watching the same exact time.
Also, it doesn't help that he didn't play Saturday night against the Knicks, but that was more of an anomaly recently.
While LeBron James is getting a triple-double in Madison Square Garden, to Stugotz's beloved Knicks, who play unevenly at home sometimes in games like that one.
Yeah.
Stugotz, during the break, because the Curmudgeons still have the microphones. They have a death grip on the microphones. Stugotz, during the break, actually said, this, spit it under his breath, wish I had it in the first segment. Not lying about any of this. Big nothing trade.
I mean, it is.
Big nothing trade between two teams that aren't going to do anything.
Yeah.
And I don't want him, and the Knicks don't want him. I wouldn't want any of those players. And then he called Luka a big fat person.
I mean, it's a team that's 28-19 in the Lakers. It's a team in Dallas that's not actually a little bit worse. They're 26-24, whatever. They're on the outside looking in terms of the playoffs. This is a nothing trade. It's big names. I understand why it's news. It's a nothing trade. The Lakers are not winning an NBA title anytime soon. The Mavericks are not winning an NBA title anytime soon. In fact, I would tell you the bigger trade made yesterday in the NBA was the one that got the Spurs the Aaron Fox. You want to know why? That team might win all the championships soon. Every one of
that's
them.
That's not a terrible point, but not this year's. We're talking about now.
You can't make a really bad point and then make a good point, and we forget the really bad point.
Doing it my entire life. I mean,
I will not stand for this.
Jessica just unlocked the code right in front of everybody. You undid the Rubik's Cube and showed them. Yes, that's exactly. He tried to distract us at the end with a moderately less bad take.
Prestige.
This is not a trade that lands you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This is not getting Moses Malone if you're Dr. J and the Sixers, the missing piece, and then they went faux. This is not that. Right. This is a trade again with two middling teams and two superstars who barely play.
Roy, can you help me with something, please? Because
nothing.
I believe that in 2025, I'm not sure about this. I asked genuinely. I think faux has been canceled. That Stugotz is not allowed to say that.
Yeah, you can't say that. I barely watched, but I'm pretty sure I saw those Mavericks in the finals last year.
You did. You won't see them again this year.
Okay.
I mean,
that's why it's a big trade.
And
they're only
trade,
and they're only 26 and 24 because Luka hasn't played with a calf strain over the last. Like they're really good when he and Kyrie are out there, and it'll be fun if LeBron is out there with him, because I want to examine this part. Did LeBron really not know? That's not possible, right? It's simply.
McMenamin reported that they called LeBron shortly after because LeBron's agent is Rich Paul, and that's Anthony Davis's agent. So
no, apparently he found out while he was at dinner. Sure.
By the way, it's faux, not faux. Like Stugotz said, there was only 3 faux back then.
They didn't say dinner which night.
It's also being reported that Rich Paul knew 48 hours before. So we're if we're believing, so he just didn't tell LeBron.
But so that one's interesting, right? Like, good God, this is funny and wild.
Okay, I don't believe it whatsoever.
I mean, come on, guys. Shams got out there with the report that LeBron didn't know too. So I mean,
he has to not know.
In sports history, has anyone ever acted more surprised than LeBron James?
So look,
it's been like 5 or 6 times now where he knows what's going to happen.
Right, so Stugotz,
it's always in a restaurant.
This part is the greatest part, where all the places where there's the fishy and you've got the oldest player in the league on the franchise that matters most in the league still has power at the end somehow. Listen to this, because this labyrinth of conflicts is pretty damn fascinating, and I probably don't need to tell you where it is that Rich Paul is going to err, on whose side Rich Paul is going to err as they take Anthony Davis from here to make LeBron better, and now they send him off to make LeBron better because LeBron made Rich Paul, made him, and they created a company together, and it's the business of LeBron and Anthony Davis, friend, but employee. LeBron James and Rich Paul run that business that is looking for investors overseas for $5 billion to create a competitive league and wants to run Hollywood. Rich Paul governs the business of LeBron James in Hollywood, and in Hollywood, where make-believe gets painted into a real sweet mirage, he'll have you believe that LeBron James didn't know anything because that sits best with his friend Anthony Davis. But his responsibility as his agent is to Anthony Davis. I don't know how they do those machinations in terms of in-house nobility where you put this assignment over here so it doesn't conflict with LeBron. But that whole business is LeBron, and it's run through conflict. Like, you can't have Anthony Davis working for LeBron James and then LeBron James is going to pretend at the end that, oh, I got Luka Doncic, my least favorite player, because it's not actually me running the Lakers as I giggle on the sidelines, because the buses know they've got a small family business and I'm the economy the way Kobe was the economy.
Should be noted that the NBA has looked into LeBron's financial investment, if there is any, with that agency. There isn't. Because plenty of teams have been like, is this allowed? There's so many conflicts.
It's so great. It's so great the way that they could just do the business of the NBA. Like, they learned all the things in the last 10 years on how you guys are yelling at Riley out the door. And look at how LeBron.
I'm so pissed at him.
No, but
I'm more pissed at him after the Luka trade than I ever was with the Jimmy stuff.
The Jimmy stuff got.
How are they not calling us?
The Jimmy stuff got buried this weekend.
Thankfully.
Yes, I know. People want it buried. People are so tired of it. It is so funny. It is so funny, Stugotz, to watch how in love we are with the transaction right until we get tired of the transaction. Because I'll tell you, I got a clock in my head on this show. We're about 45 minutes from it here before it turns on us. And enough about Luka. Enough.
It took me 20.
No, but they want. No, it took you. No, you're saying it's a nothing trade.
Yeah. After I talked to my wife about the trade, I realized it's a nothing trade. What am I talking to her about it for? I'm talking to her about nothing. We have to have better things to talk about, me and my wife, than Luka Doncic.
This Doncic. This is why This is why though you're a curmudgeon.
Well, why don't you talk about the Spurs trade then? What did you tell your wife about the Spurs?
What did you think?
I said, watch out. I said the Spurs are the team. I said over the next 10 years, if I had to bet who's going to win the most titles, I'd go San Antonio. My wife agreed.
Any
How about
opinions
that?
on JT Miller to the Rangers?
I don't know who that is.
What about the Bulls haul for Zach LaVine?
You know, that's where, I'll tell you what, when you go to Sacramento, that's where your career dies. I'm serious. Zach LaVine, if he thought it was bad in Chicago, wait until he gets to Sacramento.
Ask Harrison Barnes.
And now De'Aaron Fox has more life. Harrison Barnes on San Antonio, though. I mean, he's going to win a bunch of titles coming up here. Seriously. That's a good team, Dan. Watch out for the Spurs.
Try Luka's name again.
Doncic.
I think this is a tomato thing.
Is it amen or amen? Do you guys say amen or amen?
It's amen.
I don't know who that is.
Do you say amen or amen?
You're supposed to say
at
with your
prayer?
spirit.
You don't know Amen Thompson?
At church.
I haven't gone to church in a while.
Amen Corner.
He was the guy that tossed Tyler Hero, wasn't it?
It's my church.
Yes.
If you say so.
This story, Stugotz, is interesting for a number of different reasons, but you are saying he's not Moses Malone.
No.
And so you're reciting a number of different names at me that are historic, but you understand if this person stays healthy and continues to play like this in his prime.
Right.
For the next 10 years, he will become, by all of the advanced metrics, one of the top 5 offensive players in the history of the sport. When LeBron James gives you the praise of that's the player that I most like as a savant, that's the player I most like to watch because he's so offensively ruthless and knows the game so well and all the angles, that player is never available by trade, never blindsided by that trade. 25 years old. It's crazy for all. Do you know how hard it is to shock? It's not even just the silence that it was never whispered.
Right.
Do you know how hard it is to shock all sports fans? Like, it's just like across sports.
In this day and age, it's nearly impossible.
Across all sports, where what you're latching onto isn't just celebrity, isn't just stardom regionally or nationally or even internationally. It's Anybody who cares about sports, all of a sudden you're talking to your wife who you know doesn't care about sports, and you're telling her about De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio because you've gotten carried away because it feels like love.
We haven't even talked about Mavericks fans. They're so upset right now, and there's got to be so many Cowboys Mavericks fans that are just like, this has been the worst year of my life.
Oh, but the tweets are like, well, on the other hand, your favorite basketball team just got Luka Doncic if you're a Cowboys fan.
Oh.
I love the idea that Stugotz and Jessica were rustled from sleep. Like Lehman demanding that you give him a vine, that Lehman demanding to do a sports talk radio show for you when you don't want to be woken by him on this. I don't think I don't know how hard it is for you to get back to sleep. I would not want a phone call that wakes me not with this news.
He was like, "Can I call you on my drive?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm not going to talk." So he just talked to me while I just laid there with my eyes closed. It's like I am genuinely interested and excited by this. This has been a tremendous weekend for basketball, but it was not the time and place.
Is it just because he wanted to do a sports radio show? He just needed to be heard?
He needed an outlet, man.
Yeah. He needed to talk to somebody at that hour.
And he knows I can't do more Knicks talk. I've done, oh my God, so much Knicks
talk. This is the funny thing. Listen to this. So how crazy is this at the top of this business? So Leon Rose, who used to be LeBron's agent, now runs the Knicks. Doesn't need to meet with the media. He's powerful, and they've created a great thing. Mm-hmm. But Bridges doesn't quite fit there. It's hard to be Bosch. Like Bridges doesn't.
How many first-round picks did he net, by the way? 5. Bridges got 5.
I think it was something like that. I think 3, maybe.
He makes the math of what I'm about to say difficult because he's owed $26 million next year.
He's been fine.
But no, well, the conversation I wanted to have with you, which sports fans now, because this part becomes titillating, Stugotz, during Super Bowl week, basketball can keep the storyline this week. Basketball can knock the Super Bowl out of the way again. What's LeBron doing? Like, what he I know what's being reported, and I know that his contract says that he's got the choice on being a free agent next year or not, but he just got his kid employed by the Lakers, and he's got a good relationship with that organization. But his former agent, Leon Rose, in New York, I don't know whether you want him or not, but New York is talking about the idea of, well, if Bridges isn't our third best player, but LeBron, the smartest ever, decides he wants to be something that runs with Cat and Brunson, isn't that interesting to New York? Like, just when you get, this is what baseball used to be. Like, this basketball has given us this over the last 15 years. Well, now every team can dream because all the players might be available this weekend if the top of the power structure is changing.
That is something that would interest New York, certainly getting LeBron James. By the way, Mike, it was 4 first-round picks for Bridges. So, listen, you have every right to question what it is the Mavericks did in not getting enough for Luka. You do. You have every right to question that when you consider that 4 first-round picks were given to get Mikal Bridges.
5 for Gobert.
Yes.
But this wasn't about draft picks.
But they got a superstar back.
It was 5 first-round picks and a first-round pick swap.
Okay.
All right. So regardless, look, the draft picks became an important thing. Is that a fine for Stugotz reading the internet wrong? Is that a fine?
Yeah.
Is that a Venmo fine?
I had 25, 27, 29, 31. I missed the pick swap. Also, I missed a Bogdanovich.
Oh, I loved that somebody was checking in on Bogdanovich. Like, that's what I thought the trade deadline was going to be. I read
That's what it usually is.
Yes, that's usually what it is. But I'm asking you guys now next steps on this, right? Because basketball can keep a portion of this week, even with football, because of how much we love this stuff. And it's just the talk, but whatever. I didn't think we'd be there. LeBron, next moves. We're all assuming that he's handing the team over to Luka for the next 10 years, is going to gracefully go out in Los Angeles. Correct, but now Golden State is out on Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler says he doesn't want to go there. If you think that LeBron and Steph aren't going to compete for championships until the very end at the top of the business, like the game now is you got to go get Steph help. Golden State, you had all the advantages. You've got a tax advantage. You got all that real estate there. You're worth one of the most valuable franchises in sport. You got to keep Steph Curry fed there at the end so that he can keep competing with LeBron, right? And they tried to trade, reportedly, talked about it a few weeks ago. Now what happens to Steph when the competition is for dollars and players and LeBron is playing with a business? LeBron is playing with a conflict of interest business where he can move the parts easier than Steph can.
Friends, it's Jer Bear, and you know that I'm obviously a bit of the romantic type, and Valentine's Day is coming up. And for me, there's only one place that I trust: 1-800-Flowers.com. Every year, I order stunning, high-quality bouquets from 1-800-Flowers that my wife absolutely loves. And this year, I'm partnering with 1-800-Flowers to make sure you're a Valentine's hero with an exclusive offer for my listeners. Double the roses for free. When you buy 1 dozen, they'll double your bouquet to 2 dozen roses. It's the perfect way to say, I love you, without breaking the bank. Trust me, 1-800-Flowers always delivers. In the Batard studios, we received a beautiful arrangement of long stem red roses, accompanied in an hourglass red vase. They're timeless, luxurious, and romantic. A must-have this Valentine's Day. And seeing and smelling the freshness of that bouquet as I walk into work every day has me prepared for any hate that Dan may throw my way. To claim your Double Your Roses offer, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by BetterHelp. We talk a lot about red flags, the warning signs that tell us to stay away from toxic relationships. But what if we spent more time looking for green flags? You know, the signs that a relationship is healthy, supportive, and worth investing in. So what are some green flags to look out for? Good communication, emotional safety, mutual respect, and someone who genuinely listens to you. Whether it's a romantic partner, a friend, or even a coworker, recognizing these positive traits can help you build relationships that will truly love you back. And if you're not sure how to spot them or even how to practice them yourself, therapy can help. Therapy can teach you positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, and how to show up as the best version of yourself. BetterHelp is accessible, affordable, and convenient. With over 30,000 licensed therapists and a fully online platform, you can find the right match for you. Plus, you can switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. So why not invest in the relationship that matters most, starting with yourself? Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
Yeah, sure thing. Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yeah.
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient.
Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
Dan Le Batard.
There is no question, Dan Le Batard show included, anybody else, that this guy is the best player on the planet. Whether he wins the Stanley Cup or the Conn Smythe this year, there is no question about it.
Stugotz.
Overrated? Wait, did someone say overrated? What's going on? Dan Le Batard, how you doing? Living in an altered world or what?
Oh, my goodness.
So this is the Dan Le Batard show with the Stugotz.
It seems like this whole thing actually is fascinating, those two at the very end here, because you either have to get the right pieces for Steph or allow Steph to go somewhere where the right pieces already exist. And in LeBron's case, I will tell you this, Dan. If indeed this is Luka's team, next 10 to 15 years, LeBron's going to go out with grace. Going to the Knicks, if they don't win a title this year, because he's chasing Jordan. We all know he's chasing Jordan. If he goes to that franchise and wins them their first NBA title, he's a big reason. He's a big part as to the why. I'm telling you, that would get me a lot closer to telling you that LeBron... It would get me closer.
What?
These are a bunch of big ifs, Dan. It would get me there, but it would get me closer.
It doesn't mean
It'd be
anything.
Like 1.5 titles.
It doesn't mean anything unless you get there. 1.5 titles.
So he'd be at 5.5. Michael would be at 6.
Okay,
right?
well, that's not giving him anything.
Why are we doing LeBron to the Knicks? The Knicks are good this year. They made a lot of moves and are so much better than they were last year.
No, but Dan is talking about what these two guys at the end of their career have to be willing to do. You're not going to bring the right pieces in around LeBron. Right? The Lakers aren't winning with LeBron. They're not. So where can LeBron go to win another championship or two? The Knicks would be a good place.
Doncic comes back February 11th, and while you may dismiss what that is offensively, I will not. I think they're going to be terrible defensively, but I think you underestimate LeBron and Doncic playing what my imagination conjures with a big who can actually play? Because, I mean, Anthony Davis thought he had some power. Last week he was publicly being quoted as saying we need a center and a guard. Like, I was a little bit startled. I'm like, Anthony Davis is in charge now.
They got the guard.
Yeah. So those two guys playing, like, you could question it all you want, but I believe all of us are turn on your television curious. Tell me when that game starts. I want to watch a regular season game. That hasn't happened for that league very much. And it's the power of star power. It's the power of the Lakers. You saw Stugotz. Football just came and took Christmas Day. Netflix is going up again, $18 now. Netflix is going to go up because all this stuff is, they got to get the sports rights and it's going to explode. All this stuff is going to explode.
What else is going up?
Christmas Day got stolen by football, but the game that mattered in basketball was LeBron Steph. They will not go quietly on the business of this. And I don't know. It's good to talk. It's fun to talk about. People can do the permutation. It doesn't even matter, Stugotz, whether you want LeBron in New York, don't want LeBron in New York. But if I throw that on FAN today as chum.
Oh, God. 20 shares.
If I throw today LeBron James economy coming to because you get the conflict of, no, we're fine with our team the way it is. We think we can beat Cleveland, even though we can't. Like when we need Mitchell Robinson to do it so that we have the front court advantages we need. No, we cannot beat Cleveland now. We did before. We cannot do that with this present allotment of players. You're going to see a different Karl Anthony Towns when that's the front line that he's against. I'd worry about that if I was New York. And then there's Boston, which last night was bored and just wandered around and then wins by 8 against Philadelphia because they could just win at the end. They could just tighten you up, and then Tyrese Maxey is all of a sudden out there by himself.
I feel bad for Mavs fans.
Do you?
I do.
They made it to the finals.
I do. I know,
last
like,
year.
very passionate Mavs fans that are like, this might be it for me.
What?
I mean, I've seen some of that too. It is a huge bummer because like several teams passed on Luka, so you get this person who a lot of like draft analysts thought was the best player in that draft, and you have him, and he's 25, and he's already taken you to the finals, and they've made moves around him to make the team better, and now they're just kind of like giving up on it. It's just bizarre.
Did you see the photo around the Dirk statue? People are laying down Luka shirts and signs saying, I love you, Luka. It's like he tragically passed away.
Oh, but imagine, wait a minute, guys. Like, we're sitting here talking about Roy's at church, 8:30 in the morning. Wait a minute. Make this something you care about. Make this something you've developed an emotional attachment that feels intimate, that has to do with regional pride. Like, and you wake up in the morning, and in terms of sports fandom, like, this hurts. Like, it lands in a way where you guys are talking about shock, and this doesn't affect you guys in any way whatsoever. You guys are just all about the transaction. Every one of you doesn't have an emotional investment in this. You're not actually that interested in the sport or what happens at the end during the championship. You're just interested in, like, oh, my God, a transaction that surprised me.
No, it affected me. I thought Agent Goran was going to get Luka here in 2 years, so now that's another plan that's blown up.
Right, okay. So, yes, that was the plan. The plan, as far as
I love people reporting that, hey, guys.
They want Luka in 2 years.
The Miami Heat might be posturing to get one of the best players in the NBA with cap room. Oh, tell me your source.
I'm wondering, what is a GM's responsibility to an organization in terms of how far to look ahead? I want to play a clip here of Nico Harrison at the press conference talking about timeline. And he's basically just like, 10 years from now, I'm not worried about that. I might not be here. I'm worried about 3 or 4 years. Let's play this clip here.
Well, I think the long term is the time frame. I think he fits our time frame. If you pair him with Kyrie and the rest of the guys, he fits right along with our time frame to win now and win in the future. And the future to me is 3-4 years from now. The future, 10 years from now, I don't know. I don't think they probably bury me and Jay by then, or we bury ourselves.
Like, Jason Kidd looks so awkward the entire press conference.
Oh, man.
What is it like? Is he right there? Is it okay for a GM to just be like, I'm thinking 4 years ahead and that's it because I might not be here after that?
Mike, who was that?
What, the guy that was not at all shocked? Yeah. I think it was Doug Funny's neighbor.
Hi, Doug. Can I hear the nervous chuckle at the end of that? Because I want you guys to hear what it sounds like when a man is drowning in public and coming up for air, and nothing is funny right now because what he feels is the pressure and 1,000 weights on his neck of everyone's laughing at me. I've got to come out here and defend something that would appear to everybody as indefensible. I'm going to bring Jason Kidd out here. I don't know if you know what my relationship is with Jason Kidd, but you will find out about it when I turn to him for some comfort here, and I do not get it, and I nervously chuckle alone.
10 years from now, I don't know. I don't think they probably bury me and Jay by then, or we bury ourselves.
Yes.
He literally, Jason Kidd looks down and shakes his head when he's saying we won't be here.
He won't. He won't. You remember when everyone knew that it was dicey headed into an offseason, letting Shohei Ohtani hit free agency, but everyone kind of understood you don't want to be the GM that trades Shohei Ohtani. This guy's the GM that traded Luka Doncic.
There are any number of bad trades that I want to go through with you guys because in the history of this sport, I'm a little jarred to have everyone assess this one as the worst ever before anything's actually happened. You understand that this is a little startling. When I ask what are the worst ever, and I get Gobert, I get Paul George, because of what Oklahoma City has become when you can become cheap, lock up your guys by getting rid of a Paul George. In baseball, it's Babe Ruth and Miguel Cabrera, correct? Those are the two? We've had one in this market, Miguel Cabrera and Babe Ruth.
His podcast network.
And are you guys in agreement with me on the fact that I can't knock football off the week?
It's nice to have it on a weekend where it's gone, trust me.
But with a transaction in any of the other sports, there aren't names I can give you from baseball or hockey or anywhere else that will grab all. Not even hockey. Connor McDavid's been traded.
No, Sidney Crosby's been rumored, but that won't do it because it's hockey.
There's no such thing. This is the birth of the last 15 years.
Maybe Judge. Judge.
I don't think
Lewis
so.
Hamilton,
maybe.
Ferrari.
Maybe
that was a big one.
I don't think Aaron Judge, man. I don't. But okay,
you're probably right. I'm just saying
2 or 3 names in baseball that might steal some attention.
That's not the same. Might steal some attention is not what
from the Super Bowl.
Holy shit in church at 8:30, and all of you looking at Roy and saying, "How could you get to that news so late? 8:30 in the morning, you idiot, you fool!"
Like we just know Roy's Twitter.
But that wouldn't happen with Aaron Judge. Holy shit in church should be our new standard.
Yes. If you say holy shit in church, yes.
Not I. If Roy says holy shit out loud in church.
No, but his priorities are all skewed.
Yeah, because then hockey's definitely in play.
Yeah.
Quinn Hughes to the Devils.
That's true.
Oh, that's a holy shit.
That's a holy shit.
That is a holy shit.
Yeah, he cares too much.
He wanted you to say holy shit.
Yeah, he cares too much. He's a bad. Yeah,
I'm a bad example.
Yeah, you can't be trusted here.
I'm sorry.
The point that
Radko Gudas to the Preds.
No.
I'm just feeling it out. You tell me where the lines are, pal.
I don't want to do this. Thank you, though, for offering it. It's not something that I'd like to do here.
I think it's an opportunity to say Radko Gudas.
I know. You're going to keep doing it, and I want to dissuade you. You're going to keep doing this until you finally get another holy shit out of Roy when I don't want one because it's not holy shit worthy.
Panarin to the Wild.
The bread man.
That is
okay, but that doesn't help me.
I'm sorry.
I know, but
I apologize, Dan.
It's just bread man. It's no holy shit.
He's not going to play your game. He's going to give you an honest answer.
My larger point being that if I'm in Dallas today and I care about my sports team and can we talk some about regional prides and regional sports identities? Okay. The Dallas Cowboys have been a laughingstock. Dallas would like to be very good at football. They've been a laughingstock for a while. For however easy you guys think it is to win championships, Mark Cuban and the Mavs winning championships in that market made Dirk Nowitzki, for example, have a relationship with that city unlike any that you will find outside of football. Usually, maybe with a Nolan Ryan type here or there, but that's a bygone age. We're talking about a kid who came to this country, and the people of Dallas feel like they know him a lot better than we do, right? He's guarded in the media. Second language makes it tough. But he's become an international superstar, and Dallas feels like it knows him. Dallas gets all those local interviews where he's being cute, sees his rise, sees that he's the same person now that he was when he was 20, and falls in love with somebody who brings them the joy of, holy shit, I'm getting to watch mastery, genius at its youngest age, in its prime. Everyone knows this is the best that sports gets. I have this relationship with this man. I feel like I know him. And in the middle of the night, you've sent him away. Why is that, or how would that feel any different than your team packing moving trucks in the middle of the night? Like, tell me how it would feel any different. It's the team and it's gone, but it feels like the team just left, even if Anthony Davis is really good. Like, those people wake up in the morning, it's stunned and it hurts. Like, it hurt. It's an emotional thing. It's not off in the depths like where the shock that you feel when a player you care about, you learn he's sick or he dies. But in terms of the sports feelings of this is the thing that hurts the most. Like, wait a minute. Oh, this is all business. This isn't about, there ain't anything here for me or loyalty or anything else. When Mike says it would get me out on the sport, yeah, that's Miguel Cabrera being traded was the first of many like that got a lot of people in South Florida out on a sport that they love.
When they made that trade, though, the Marlins with Cabrera, what they got back was Burke Badenhop. I mean, that's the Hopper. That's who they got back. I mean, they got Anthony Davis back, and Charles Barkley likes to trade. Like, Mavs fans need to get over it.
They got Andrew Miller and Cameron Maybin, who at least were young prospects. You at least see the math of, okay, a guy that's leaving, younger, good prospects. This is just like an old guy, you got 2 years with him, and that's it.
Man.
Jessica, please have at it with
Wait, who's the old guy? I'm lost now.
Anthony Davis is the old guy.
He's 31.
I'm just saying relative to Luka.
But Luka's an old 25. You agree, right? No, he is.
Is Anthony Davis an old 31?
He turns 32 next month, so that is.
He's a very 32, 31 and 11-month-year-old. He's a very 31 and 11-month-year-old, 31 and 11-month-year-old.
I think he's an old 32-year-old.
He's the oldest 31 that there can be.
I think that it's difficult for you to analyze Anthony Davis if you were unaware of the fact that he's played most of the games he's been in for the last 3 years.
I've watched Anthony Davis his entire life. He's played about half the games. Okay.
They did win a championship. They did win a championship
Guys,
together.
The math is in the last 4 years.
It would have counted if it was the Heat.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, not for me.
In the last 4 years, he has played more than 60 games once, and it was last year after Charles and Shaq did a lot of damage to his reputation that hasn't been erased by just hammering him and calling him street clothes, and he is less available, and that would be very frustrating if my body was breaking down. He does seem to care, though. He doesn't seem to be doing what Jimmy Butler is presently doing in terms of not trying.
Unlike Luka?
He seems to always try to get out there, and he gets the reputation. This is a rare thing, okay? This is not a normal thing for a top 15, top 20 player, not top 10 player now, but top 15, top 20 player in terms of skill set that you've ever seen, for that to be less than because somebody's always saying it's soft, mentally weak, body's weak, and this trade is a joke because that's not valuable at 31 because I know it's going to break down.
It is interesting that Damian Lillard wasn't allowed to say, hey, I only want to go to this team, but Jimmy Butler can. I'll shut up. It's Luka's day.
Can we do LeBron to the Heat next?
I've already been there. And Pat's going to be asleep at that wheel,
It's better than LeBron to the Knicks. I'd rather hear that argument.
When I saw that trade go down, my initial reaction was anger at Pat and also almost certainty that I found out before he did.
I don't like what you're doing to Pat Riley there.
I don't like what he's doing to me. Terry Rozier's still on this roster. And I warned him. I was like, please don't do this, Pat. The day that he was acquired, I begged on this microphone, do not acquire Terry Rozier, please. He is a bad basketball player and personally my least favorite ever, and he did it anyways. He drew first blood, not me.
Super disrespectful that you have him nodding off and are entitled to old people jokes. I think it's you can have all of those same criticisms without.
He was asleep when the news broke.
Okay.
All he's done for you, though, man. I mean, come on.
No, he's great. He gets to stay here as long as possible. But we can also be adults here and acknowledge the fact that we all probably found out
later
before
this week. Later this week.
He was at the early bird special at the Sizzler where Dan used to work or something.
I
and
love
he went
that
to
Sizzler.
sleep.
You will not Sizzler shame me.
I'm not.
There will be no Sizzler shaming.
I'm early bird special shaming Pat Riley on behalf of Mike. I have no strong opinions on Pat Riley myself.
You shouldn't have any strong opinions that are negative on Sizzler. You got to be careful.
I don't.
With Sizzler.
I have no negative opinions about anything at the moment.
And
it was a
then-
great weekend.
And then I was like, well, maybe this will spring him into action and be like, we'll get the Aaron Fox. And then that window closed.
Right.
Levine.
So they closed simultaneously.
There's a negative reaction. The Bulls. The Bulls are just so bad at this.
Yeah.
They're just so bad at this.
There's no way LeBron's going to want to come here.
Can I interest you guys, though, in the conversation about how it is and why it is that it had to be kept quiet, and the idea that you would neuter yourself in terms of availability of all the league's talent? Because I don't understand why you guys don't bite on this particular conversation, where it can just be blanket incompetence. But if you can summon a hypothetical motive for me on what is here that is still untold, whether it's fishy, whatever it is that you want to go with there.
Do you think this trade would have been allowed if people generally thought this Lakers team could win? Because this is worse than the CP3 deal that David Stern blew up in terms of being unfair. Bridges went for 5 first-round picks. I understand Dallas is getting back a Hall of Famer, and he's 31 years old presently, even though he's an old 32.
Mm-hmm. The oldest.
He's the oldest possible 32, even though he's not 32 yet.
Yes, he's the.
But I guess you could say, when can you say in a 1-for-1 deal you traded a Hall of Famer, got one back? Well, when one of them's 25, dude, and you got back like one that's like historically. I know the last 3 years when I haven't been watching, he's been all right, but he's always hurt. It doesn't seem fair.
Not always hurt. He is often hurt.
When most people were watching, he's always hurt.
That's fine. That is the distinction that we now do
when
in
Mike
sports.
Is watching.
No, that's what. But
everyone tuned out when the Heat did.
Jessica, the sports fan, is at this point that entitled. Mike speaks on behalf of fan entitlement, where it's like
sports object permanence, where like when he's not watching it, it's not happening.
That's correct.
It doesn't exist.
The whole sport is being played in a forest.
Have you not realized, Jessica, at this point that much of this show is funneled through the sheer narcissism of Mike Ryan?
Yes. Play on wood.
And frankly, Jessica, if he had his way, he would be talking a lot more about Panthers hockey right now. That this show, if he actually had his way, he and Roy
Larson won the last chance quality
and NASCAR. He would be talking about NASCAR too. So
you're saying we're very lucky.
I'm not actually
about his restraint.
No, I'm telling you that he and many sports fans. It's not just him, but if you grow fat on early 2000s Hurricane football, and you follow that up with 2010, 2014 LeBron,
you're spoiled.
You become really entitled to the sports team of my choosing will keep my attention these next 5 minutes, or I'm going to go elsewhere to be with my champion.
That's me, entitled, recovering Browns fan.
On to the Panthers.
Me and my charmed life. I had to wait 30 years for my hockey franchise to do something. So spoiled.
You have lived a charmed sports life, Mike.
You don't think so?
I mean, I got
Mike,
to see.
you have.
I got to see the greatest basketball player, arguably ever, play in my Heat uniform, and that was really cool. I really miss Dwayne Wade.
Would LeBron James, Stugotz?
You're the worst.
Would LeBron James
Such a great run.
say right now that Luka is his best teammate ever? Would you say Luka is his best teammate
That's
ever?
his move. Anytime he gets a new teammate.
LeBron's going to say it because he's a liar, but
I'm just saying
takes one to know one.
He should say it, and they should not play together. He should be traded this week.
Friends, it's Jer Bear, and you know that I'm obviously a bit of the romantic type, and Valentine's Day is coming up. And for me, there's only one place that I trust: 1-800-Flowers.com. Every year, I order stunning, high-quality bouquets from 1-800-Flowers that my wife absolutely loves. And this year, I'm partnering with 1-800-Flowers to make sure you're a Valentine's hero with an exclusive offer for my listeners. Double the roses for free. When you buy 1 dozen, they'll double your bouquet to 2 dozen roses. It's the perfect way to say, I love you, without breaking the bank. Trust me, 1-800-Flowers always delivers. In the Batard studios, we received a beautiful arrangement of long stem red roses, accompanied in an hourglass red vase. They're timeless, luxurious, and romantic. A must-have this Valentine's Day. And seeing and smelling the freshness of that bouquet as I walk into work every day has me prepared for any hate that Dan may throw my way. To claim your Double Your Roses offer, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/Dan.
Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan. It is big game week, and I've got just the thing to make your big game time a Miller time. From fireside conversations to football Sundays, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer. A new year is a perfect time for friends, family, and great-tasting light beer. Tastes like Miller time. Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, and when you're hosting your ultimate game day party, why don't you bring out a beautiful silver platter of that amazing white can and know you will make everybody there happy, because Miller Lite is the original light beer since 1975 and still the very best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.